On the Rod Pedersen Show.
But what we were listening to was the referee, Tom Valesi. We have to talk about this, I believe. It was sent to me from a viewer because I didn't catch it at the time. And you've seen it multiple times since. The video to start the second half. They're throwing the quarterback. They're showing the quarterback throwing the football, Cody Fajardo, with his ball cap on. Start of the second half. He's not even paying attention. Well, apparently neither were his teammates because they weren't lined up properly, and Saskatchewan had to take a timeout to open the second half. Like, where are your heads, guys? And the referee, Tom Valesi, you just heard him. You didn't see him. Saskatchewan has called a timeout. F them.
Oh, no.
Right? And then later on, CFL PR has to issue an apology on behalf of the CFL and the referee himself. And it's like, are you apologizing that you swore or are you apologizing that you got heard? And I just wonder if that's the end of it, because I don't think it's the end of it. I know Saskatchewan pretty well, but more than the football team, but I also know football people overall. They're not going to let it die with an apology. It'll be he disrespected us. And then the further, what does he have against us? Why would he say F us? Even though you can say F you to the referee 100 times a game, but he says it back, and all of a sudden it's a problem. You got to apologize.
Yeah.
And I just think, where do you think this should go from here? Because the football people are saying to me, he should not be allowed to officiate another Saskatchewan game the rest of the year because clearly he's got something against Saskatchewan. And I'm thinking, well, maybe Saskatchewan should look at why he would say that and why were you not lined up properly for the kickoff to start the second half that you got to call a timeout. Maybe look in the mirror.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
How about the Ducks? Yes, I had them picked to finish third in the Pacific Division, and we're a long, long ways away from the end of the regular season, Moose. Do you think because they're so young that the Anaheim Ducks are a wet paper box, that the bottom's going to fall out?
They might be. It might be a situation of they're too young to know better. The veterans that they have, like Ryan Getzlaf, is that enough to get that group and battle through it?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Happy Tuesday, Canada, and welcome to the RP Show. We're live, and it's hour one. Are we announcing the new sponsor for hour two yet? Or do you want to wait till hour two, Moose?
Let's wait till hour two.
Sure, why not? Because they're sponsoring hour two.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Listen, before we go any further, this show has very quickly turned into a dog's breakfast, okay? I welcome everybody watching on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and those listening around the world at rodpedersen.com/listen live. We were supposed to have Ozzy Wiesblatt of the Prince Albert Raiders, the San Jose Sharks first rounder. I'm pointing to the bobblehead of Ozzy on our desk here, but he has sent his regards. He can't come on because the Raiders have changed up their travel plans, and they're getting on the bus and they're hitting the road, and there's a storm all over Western Canada, and it's causing a lot of problems. So Ozzy Wiesblatt's not going to be with us. Joey Kenward will from Sportsnet 650 Radio in Vancouver, and I'll tell you why in a second that we went to Joey. And Matthew Barnaby is going to be with us in hour two. Our good friend Barney, because I said to Clark, we haven't heard from Barney in a long time. We got to get the famed NHL Super Pest on the air to talk about what's going down in the National Hockey League of late. And here's the thing. Can I say this is breaking news? It is a sports show, but it's also Canada's daytime sports talk show. Environment Canada has lifted wind and rain warnings across southern BC, and BC hydro crews are making good progress restoring power in some areas. Do you realize the significance of this?
This is huge.
But nearly 20,000 customers from Vancouver Island to the Kootenay region are still without electricity, and crews have not yet been assigned to several hard-hit areas, including Chilliwack and Hope. Floodwaters are still rising in some areas, including Abbotsford, where an evacuation order was issued this morning for people living on the Sumas Prairie to the Chilliwack boundary. Mayor Harry Braun says the situation is very serious and that he's never seen anything like it in the 68 years he's lived in Abbotsford. All 7,000 residents of Merritt were ordered out yesterday after rising water flooded the town's water treatment plant. So prayers up to our friends in BC, all across BC, the lower mainland and the interior. Sometimes now I feel like an idiot even wanting to talk sports, even though that's our job, because it just seems to pale in comparison. And you know a little bit about this. You said that sports probably being canceled all over the region.
Yeah, I know. I think it was I want to say Kelowna Rockets were coming home from Spokane. And I believe it was Kelowna, and hearing that maybe they were on the bus for 15, 16, 17 hours, stranded at Hope, trying to get through. You know, the water level's rising. It's catastrophic. It'll take a long time to undo the damage. As you mentioned, 68 years, they hadn't seen anything like this. I don't know how long it's been. We know the coast gets rain, but this is something extraordinary.
Yeah, so we're thinking about you, BC. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And if there's any news updates that we can pass along, that's what we will do. So that's our guess. That's where our mind is today. And can you hit, please, Director Jordan, the Quick Six show horn? And I see that we got a lot of messages coming in on the text line. We'll get to those in a moment. I do have thoughts on all Canadian sports that I want to spend a lot of time on here in the warm-up. But the number one point is Monday Night Football. Jimmy Garoppolo threw two touchdown passes to lead the San Francisco 49ers over the Los Angeles Rams, 31-10 for their first home win in more than a year. The Niners had lost 4 of 5 games and were in danger of falling out of the playoff race altogether before putting together a complete performance against the Rams. It felt like this one was over early. And Ray in the 6 has written in, and I'll get to his text. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Monday Night Football because it is Canada's daytime sports talk show. But at some point, maybe later today, Moose, we will have a discussion about Mathew Stafford because the quarterback of the Rams looked dreadful last night, and he looked dreadful against the Titans. I was in your living room watching the game, and I'm like, he looks terrible. And you're like, well, he's playing the best defense in the NFL. Last night, he was not.
That's right.
And he still looked like junk. So maybe we need to have a talk about Mathew Stafford and the Detroit Lions and where the Rams are going with this guy. Moving on. I was watching Monday Night Football last night, and then I got a message from a friend in Florida that said, you got to flip over to the Lightning game. It's fight night, Islanders and Lightning. So I did.
Yeah.
And it was. So Andrei Vasilevsky made 25 saves. Anthony Cirelli had a tie-breaking goal and a fight. And Tampa Bay beat the Islanders 4-1. The defending Stanley Cup champions are now 6-0-2 over their last 8 games. John Cooper has piloted them through the turbulence, and you can now move about the cabin safely. And I was watching the broadcast, going back and forth with my buddy Joe Lazito, the big Islanders fan. And I said, this broadcast is highly entertaining. I don't know who these guys are, but they're funny. For instance, Corey Perry's running around cheap-shotting guys, as usual, with Tampa Bay. But he wasn't going to fight. Faked like he was going to fight, then he didn't fight. And I think the announcer for the Islanders, you guys help me. I think his name's Brendan Burke or Brendan Burke. Clark says, and Butch Goring's doing color. So they're like, oh, Corey Perry's in his 17th year. He doesn't need to fight. And one of them said that. And the other guy goes, yeah, I'll tell Chara that. Because Chara's out there fighting. I'm like, this is entertaining. It's so rare nowadays that when it's entertaining, it stands out. And then with the last 5 minutes, the Islanders weren't pressing. And initially, I'm like, why do these teams hate each other? Oh, wait. What forms rivalries? Playoff wars.
That's right.
And Game 7, Eastern Conference Final, or whatever they called it last year. But in the last 5 minutes, it was 4-1 Tampa. Islanders weren't pushing, and the broadcasters were like, this is turning into a 4-1 game. Like, it's over. I'm like, okay, good. I can go back to Monday Night Football. That's my Islanders-Tampa story, the end.
Yeah, no, and that's pretty good. When we don't see the fights that often, and not that we want to see it go back to fight night every night, because then that just becomes the state of the game. This is like, I got to tune into this. And then people start talking about it and texting their friends, you got to tune into this game. Then the next time they play, you're going to tune in. Won't be any fighting that game, but you got to tune in because you never know what's going to happen.
Entertainment, baby.
Got to sell it.
And that's why just simple, bing, they're fighting in Tampa. Okay, click. Oh, they are. This is great.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Canadian Football League and the Hamilton Grey Cup Committee announcing all kinds of festivities and fun stuff going on in Hamilton. So it's not going to be just a game, which is what I was led to believe, that they were canceling all of Grey Cup festivities, but that's not the case. Go to CFL.ca and you can read there, the Ticats website, what they got going on. Sounds like it's going to be worthwhile for you to go to Grey Cup if you're not living in Hamilton or Toronto region. Is that fair?
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
But I was more interested in this. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers sending out a news release today. Shout out DC Darren Cameron, the outstanding Bomber PR guy. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are bringing the holidays to IG Field for the December 5th Western Division Final. I just got like a jingling in my ears sound. We don't have that, but that's what I heard. In addition to the usual fall tailgate area additions of fire pits and warming huts, fans will also be able to enjoy rum and eggnog or caribou while partaking in traditional Voyager games led by members of the Festival du Voyager team. Can you imagine if they were playing the elk in that game, if they actually were? We're eating you before the game, okay? We're barbecuing you before kickoff. For those with a sweet tooth, the first 500 fans will be able to enjoy maple syrup taffy in the tailgate area. The first 20,000 fans through the gates will also receive rally towels. Buzz and Boomer are bringing Santa to the West Division Final and his unofficial elves. They'll be giving out gifts to some lucky children at the game until Santa's bag is empty. Fans can stop by Gate 2 to take photos with Santa. So there you go. The Bombers will face the winner of the Western semifinal, which will be played Sunday, November 28th. How about that?
That's cool.
How about that?
Bob's your uncle.
That's cool.
Bob's
you know,
your uncle.
Makes me want to go.
Doesn't it?
It makes me want to go.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you're welcome, free of charge.
Well done.
And speaking of all of that, the Canadiana and that, so I'm driving in here today, and as always, I'm listening to Sirius XM NHL Channel 91, and it's Scott Laughlin and Mike Johnston. And can I say I've got a crush on Mike Johnston? Can I say that?
Sure.
I never met him. I just think he's great. And I love how much he works. He's on TSN all hours, morning and night. Then he's on satellite radio during the day. And I've known Scott Laughlin for a long, long time. Never met Mike Johnston. So I'm listening. And somehow or another, it comes up that Mike Johnston's dad's from Moose Jaw. I don't even know how it came up. So I immediately sent Scott a note. And I said, listen, you got to ask Mike Johnston, who is his dad and why did he leave the Jaw? They came out of a commercial break. I'm driving down Ross Avenue, okay?
Yep.
Well, I got a message here from my buddy Rod Pedersen. He has a great show out there in Western Canada. And he wants to know, Mike, who is your dad? And why did he leave the Jaw? He goes, you guys are all so tight-knit out there. Well, Mike Johnston went on this whole thing about, well, my dad's name's Ron, and he worked for Robin Hood. Do you know what that is? The flower company.
Yeah.
So he goes, yeah, and my dad was a great ball player. And he told me stories about playing ball in Moose Jaw and playing hockey in Moose Jaw. But he got transferred out of there and he went to Calgary. Then he came down east. But he was so proud of being from Saskatchewan. That's the way Mike said it. So
right.
Clearly, you've spent nearly zero time here, MJ. But that's fine. By the way, it's 11:11. Just putting that out there. The opportunity portal is opening. Are you going to take advantage of it? Anyways, and he goes, I love going to Moose Jaw as a kid because they had the rink, the Crush Can, and you come down the valley and you see the Crush Can. It's like you stepped in a pop can. That's why they call it that. But now they have a beautiful arena, Mosaic Place. He goes, that town is just Canadiana, Moose Jaw. And Scott is like Laughlin. He's like, that's the most Canadian city name ever.
Yes.
Actually, I know how they got on it because they had Todd McClellan on just before that. And then if you're from Melville, you say it a special way. Melville.
Yeah, Melville. I'm not that far from Melville, okay? I grew up close to Melville.
There's a special way to say it.
Not Melville.
Scott's like, you're from Melville. Todd, what's that like? And the coach of the LA Kings. This is just this morning, folks. He's like, well, when you grow up in Melville, how do you say it?
Melville.
Yeah, it's not like everybody else in the rest of the world pronounces it.
No, it's Melville. And it's just like Calgary, not Calgary. It's Calgary, and it's Melville.
Your own way of saying it.
It's Melville.
Bingo! And then Todd, who, I'm listening. I turn the radio on. I'm like, I know this voice, but who is this? You know what I mean? I interviewed this guy, but I don't know who it is. It was Todd McClellan from Melville. And they got going about Terry Poole, the Houston Astros all-star outfielder. And Todd's like, well, it's not, because you think there'd be a lot more hockey players from here, but there's Terry Poole, and they said Sid Abel, Tim Shovelday. He's naming all these guys. And then somehow or another it came around to Moose Jaw. So
unbelievable.
That's my Moose Jaw, my Johnston story. The end. The Portland Trailblazers beat the Raptors 118-113 Monday night, spoiling an excellent night from OG Anunoby. He had 29 points, including 6 3-pointers in the loss. The game was the first of a 6-game roadie for Toronto. They head to Utah to play the Jazz on Thursday. These points are all out of order, but that's okay. Former Calgary Flames captain Jarome Iginla became the 4th black player enshrined in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He joins Grant Fuhrer, Canadian women's national team player Angela James, and Trailblazer Willie O'Ree, who went in as a builder. Iggy headlined the 5 players and 1 executive enshrined last night, a year later than originally intended due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is the one thing I learned from being in football for so long in the Canadian Football League. I don't see color. I don't. Black, red, yellow, whatever. I don't see it. And I learned it with Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett, where we always, pointed out with the Rough Riders are the first ever black GM and coach tandem in pro football history. And I'm like, why do you need to point that out? Because it's important to us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, that was 20 years ago. Here we are 20 years later, and I get it. I totally get it. It's important to point out what Iggy's done, because the race has been oppressed forever. So I think it's important to point that out.
Yeah.
But we do have a poll question today related somewhat to that, and it's to the Hockey Hall of Fame for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. And it is, who is not in the Hockey Hall of Fame of these guys, but should be? And your options are Wendell Clark, Theo Fleury, John Van Beesbrook, or other. And at press time on Twitter, last I saw, it was Theo. What are they saying on YouTube, Clark? Do you have a sample size on YouTube? Not enough? Okay. So if you're watching on YouTube, would you mind casting a ballot? For me, it's Theo all day. And I love me some Wendell. I love me some Beezer. He was my favorite goalie for like 6 months growing up in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because so too were Kelly Rudy and Grant Fuhrer and a lot of other guys. But I love me some Beezer. And as a matter of fact, I wore the same helmet and mask combo because of Beezer. SK2000 and the V. You're not old enough. But do you have a thought on those guys or anybody else?
Wendell.
That's who you'd vote for?
Yeah, Wendell be my pick in the poll. They're all worthy. So it's a case of, when for these guys. But some of them now it's becoming if, right? You hope that they find a way in there. But for me, it would be Wendell. They'd have my vote.
There's no wrong answer to that, I don't think, to be honest.
No, we got 3 good ones.
Theo has the early lead, they tell me. And well, he should. We're going to pause. I like this. Jamie Anstey writes in from Halifax. He is our Halifax correspondent, Jamie Anstey. And he's also the equipment manager of the Cole Harbour Colts junior hockey program. He says, coast to coast, the RP show is shown all over on the Game Plus TV network, watching from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So we could sit here and talk about the NFL all day if we want, but I just felt, maybe because it's so bloody crappy outside, I feel very Canadian today.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very Canadian-type winter out there today. People are talking about Taco Time. Boy, do I have something for you from Taco Time. Shane Ashby writes it on Twitter and says, Sergei Gonchar, I can't dispute that.
That's a good one.
There's a lot of guys not in the Hall of Fame that should go in.
Yeah.
So we'll get to your comments in a minute. Okay. This has been the warm-up, and I would say a damn fine one, brought to you by Ecole Electric. Come see our sales staff and in-house specialists for all your electrical needs. On the way, Joey Kenward from Vancouver to talk about what's going on out there. Crazy right now. Joey Kenward.
It's nuts.
Crazy right now.
Yeah.
And an hour 2, Matthew Barnaby. You're watching the RP show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I am proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Jumping right back into it. I'm going to start TacoTime Viewer takeover early. By the way, we were talking about our poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, and that is which NHLer that's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame should be. Theo Fleury, Wendell Clark, John Van Beesbrook or other. John is watching in Edmonton, John Kirby, and he says Theo may not go into the Hall of Fame because of his issues. Really, John? Tell me what issues those are. I'll wait. The fact that he's in long-term recovery from addiction caused by being a child sex abuse survivor? Those issues? Is that what we're talking about? That's why we're going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame? Let me know what those issues are that are going to keep Theo out of the Hall of Fame. What do you got?
No, that's always been the thing, right?
Light just went out on Darren. Clean up in aisle 5.
Oh, no.
No. I think we can handle it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to light a candle over there?
I feel like I'm
Here they come. Here they come.
I know I can.
Out of the back. You guys come fix this thing while we're on the air. I think it'll be very entertaining. Ray in the 6 is watching, Kitchener, Ontario area. He says, hi, Rod. It looks like the Rams might have hit a bit of a roadblock. They looked pretty ordinary last night against the Niners. The Niners played smash-mouth football, and the Rams did not respond. Should be a good second half of football. Yeah, and he also says best wishes to our friends in BC, because it is something that they're going through out there right now. I said it again. They got dominated in the trenches, and that shouldn't happen. Von Miller played last night, right? He got blown up. Aaron Donald was ineffective from what I saw.
Right.
OBJ, he looked good, and we know how talented he is. But right now, he just looks like the Bentley in the showroom.
Yes. He caught the first pass of the game. And it's like, okay, here we go. He's going to have 2 catches all night.
Right.
Went deep for him right away on a really bad pass that was intercepted. He laid a nice hit. OBJ laid a really nice hit. But yeah, you're right. He was the Bentley in the showroom and wasn't used. And it became a really, really long night for the Rams. And they're in some trouble if they can't turn this around.
I love the fact that people are watching Game Plus television all across this country and the United States, of course. That just come back on?
No, it did not.
I think it. No, it didn't. Which one?
This one right here.
Okay. Not happening.
Good one, Rod.
Clap on.
Clap off.
The clapper.
We have questions. Grant in Kelowna. Remind me of this, everybody. Grant in Kelowna wants to know what's wrong with Elias Pettersson. Why is he struggling so much? We're going to put that to Joey Kenward when he joins us a little later on in the next segment, okay? Because he is with Sportsnet 650 Vancouver. Joey is a learned hockey aficionado. He would know far greater than me. I think it's a bogged down culture thing. It's coming back on over there. See?
Ta-da!
It's a clapper. Did you say you had those photos ready, Clark? I'm going to do it right now. TacoTime Viewer takeover. Can we do it? Do you have them ready? Because this text is staring me in the face. Scott Stanley in St. Albert said, Rod, go check out the poutine Mexi fries. They don't have poutine Mexi fries. I had this taco salad yesterday. It was unbelievable. 5 hot sauce things on there, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And can you show the next one, Clark? That is the Mexi fries board. And there's nowhere does it say poutine. It says deluxe Mexi fries, which we've all had in our lifetimes. Sour cream, chives, bacon bits. Oh, yeah. But there's no poutine there. And I was like, think about it. Just let's sit back and think about it.
Yeah.
We're going to put gravy on Mexi fries? Thanks, Clark. I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense. And as I was telling you earlier, because you were driving home from Winnipeg, I called you. I said, you're not going to believe this, Moose.
Yes.
The lady behind the counter at TacoTime, she was like squinting at my coat. I had a Rod Pedersen Show jacket on. She's like, it's you. You're tagging the wrong account. When you post about taco, you're tagging the American TacoTime at TacoTime Fresh. She goes, we have a different menu than we have a great menu, but it's different. You have to tag TacoTime Regina. I'm like, got it. And then what did you say?
Dialed in.
Right. You're like, she's dialed in.
She's paying attention.
You want that from your sponsors, you know? So they're like, you're tagging the wrong TacoTime. Okay. Everybody's yelling at me all the time. Kenny Gill watching in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He writes in and he says, good morning, Rod. If you had to pick a Grey Cup for new CFL fans to watch, which one would it be? Ooh. Can I think about that?
Yeah.
Because there are several. What do you want? Like a cliffhanger? Like, I don't know.
That's a good one.
Because there hasn't been very few bad Grey Cups.
No.
But I'll say this, ESPN Classics in Canada, when I'm scrolling through the TV and it says replaying the 2007 Grey Cup, I'm like, why? 23-19, I was there. I called it. Saskatchewan over Winnipeg. It was a bad game. Why are you showing this?
Yeah. My first thought goes to 95. It's my favorite.
Right. 94 was very good. BC, Baltimore.
But Calgary, Baltimore, because you got Doug Flutie and you got Sapunjas. You got some really good names. You got the other side with Tracy Ham and Mike Pringle. But it was Baltimore. So if you're talking about new fans, do you want to show them an American team? Because it doesn't really represent the CFL today. But it was a good game.
This is not a black and white answer.
No, it's not.
Somebody want to tell me? Because I'll be honest with you. Completely impartial, 2005 Grey Cup in BC Place, Edmonton, Montreal went to double overtime. I was on pins and needles, and I didn't care who won. Do you know what when that's the case, that's a pretty good indication. Danny Machoch's Edmonton Eskimos, Don Matthews, Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I want to say 05 double overtime. Now, though, the 2017 in Ottawa, the Snow Globe, which is a hell of another story, but it was Calgary, Toronto, Mark Trestman against Dave Dickinson. It was the Snow Globe thing. Shania Twain comes out with a bunch of husky dogs on a sled for the halftime show.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember how that worked. They couldn't get the field brushed off. They had to bring in the National Guard to clean off something. Just remember, they're all good. I'm sitting here going, what's the best? And 89 Grey Cup is regarded by Saskatchewan Roughriders fans as the greatest ever, but I'm not arrogant enough to try to speak for everybody on that. Pretty darn good. And then 2013, I get asked all the time on these podcasts, I get asked by these little grasshoppers, what was the best moment in your broadcast career? And I say 2013 Grey Cup, greatest day in provincial history, where the Saskatchewan Roughriders knocked the dog snot out of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But I wouldn't advocate some guy from Scranton, Pennsylvania watching that. He'll be bored. The game was over at the player intros. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a very tough question. Oh, God, we started a holy war.
I know.
Brett Murray on YouTube says Theron Fleury shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, period. Was he a Hall of Fame player? Questionable, but strictly based off of on-ice performance, I could be swayed. Oh, okay, well, I'll convince you. Over a point-a-game guy, over 1,000 games in the NHL, Stanley Cup champion, Olympic gold medal champion, World Junior champion. You look at the definition of a Hall of Famer, it's Theron Fleury. And because he's a victim of child sexual abuse, which led to, obviously, the trauma that goes along with it, addiction, and now 14 years sober, and people are upset that he doesn't like Justin Trudeau, so he can't go in the Hall of Fame. Come on. I won't say what league it is, but I had a guy say to me the Hall of Fame. I won't say which one he was referring to, but he says the Hall of Fame's got a lot of guys in there. I wouldn't walk my grandkids across the street. So I'm not as big on Hall of Fames as I used to be. Because of this. Because of Theo. Because of guys that should be in there and aren't for stupid reasons. There, I said it. Frank Limeker, watching in beautiful Airdrie, Alberta, the home of Jake Neighbors, I might add.
Very good.
First round pick of the Blues. Called his game the other night. He says, I lament the days when the Canadian University Cups and Bowls were televised on our regular sports channels. I know, right? Although the game the other day, Montreal-Laval, I was working out in Monday morning, and Sportsnet was showing highlights of it. That was at the Montreal Carabin Stadium, right? It was jammed. And I'm assuming the only reason Sportsnet was showing the highlights was because they carried the game. I got to think that's why.
Right.
Looked like a hell of a football game.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what stadium they play. Can somebody tell me, University of Montreal, where they play? It's clearly not McGill. You couldn't have put another body in there with a shoehorn. Canadian university football. It's a thing. It's still alive. What game was that, Moose? Do you know? Not the UTEC Bowl, because Montreal's going to the UTEC Bowl.
Yeah. The Dunsmore?
You're going to the big board?
I think it was the Dunsmore.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Dunsmore Cup. Thank you.
And the Yates and the Hardy are this weekend.
Doc Turner is watching in San Francisco, California, and he wants to know who you've got winning the Grey Cup. And he tags it by saying, I'm a Calgary fan. His name is Doc, and he's in San Francisco, and he wants to know who you think is going to win the Grey Cup. So
today?
He wants to know today, yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, there's a CFL game tonight, by the way.
I know.
We'll talk about that a little later. Do you want to reserve?
Can I have some time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Until the full-on TacoTime Viewer takeover. That's coming up later on this hour. When we return, the great Joe Kenward for a little update on BC sports and what's going on out there in the worst weather situation in potentially ever. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, live streaming on YouTube, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be talking some Vancouver sports, some BC weather here in a moment. But first, I can't go any further than to say, without talking about the poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, who is not in the Hockey Hall of Fame of these three that should be? Theoren Fleury, Wendell Clark, or John Van Beesbrook? And this Brett Murray is in a huge fight here from our YouTube viewers, and he says the Hall of Fame has to account for your complete character. We can't be rewarding the behavior, irregardless how traumatizing his childhood, which I do sympathize with. He says Theoren Fleury should not be in the Hall of Fame. Brett Murray, I suggest you stop talking right now. You're going to question Theoren Fleury's character? Do you know him? Have you ever even spoken with the man? I think you should stop talking and maybe leave the feed. You're attacking Theoren Fleury's character. Stop. Before I get even more upset. I don't know where to start with Joey Kenward out in Vancouver, Sportsnet 650. How you doing, Joey? Interesting times out there on the West Coast, I see.
Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of days here. It's sunny, for starters, to give you a quick weather update. That's been none further from the truth the last 48 to 72 hours here on the West Coast. But you hope that it's sunny days ahead for everybody. I know the storm that we just had here in BC is creeping its way across the Rockies and making their way towards the prairies, but I'm sure that'll turn from rain to snow. So here's keeping fingers crossed that wherever you're watching, that no matter what the weather conditions are, you're safe and healthy, because that's not necessarily the case for a lot of people in these parts here the last day or so.
Yeah, for sure. And we're back in a situation where sports doesn't really matter, right? Evacuation notices in Abbotsford. 20,000 customers from Vancouver Island to Kootenays without power. And it has thrown sports into disarray, but you must know people affected, Joey. You've been out there a long time.
Yeah. To put this in perspective, think of it this way. If you want to get into Vancouver right now, and if you're outside of the Lower Mainland, the only way to get here is either by water or air. Every major roadway into the Lower Mainland of BC is closed at some junction, coming from the north, coming from the east. Even some of the roadways below the border have been flooded out. That's bad news when you're talking about shipping goods on highways. I have no idea if that means rail traffic has also been affected. If you've had washouts on the highways, there's a good chance they could have occurred as well on the CN rail lines. We've had a lot of people in different parts of the province that have been stranded by mudslides on either side of them. It gotten so bad that Search and Rescue and Canada's top rescue agency, which very rarely gets deployed in this fashion, had to bring in helicopters onto the highways to take people out of their vehicles to get them to safe area. Their vehicles are still on the highway as we speak. We're here in British Columbia, specifically in the Lower Mainland, we're used to rain. This isn't rain. This is bad news storms that we haven't seen in my lifetime. And talking to people a whole lot older than me, it's been a long time that maybe they haven't even seen torrential downpour. How that affects sports, it's interesting. The major roadways that get from the Lower Mainland up to the interior, and we're talking hockey, either for Western Hockey League teams like in Kelowna or Kamloops or Prince George, or the BC Hockey League teams that are playing throughout the interior, the Okanagan and the north. You can't get there. And if you're up there having to get back home, you're stranded. I was reading something online that the Coquitlam Express, who play in the BCHL, they're stuck in Kamloops. They can't get home. If they're going to get home and they need to get home, they're going to have to go a long route to go across the border to get back in to the Lower Mainland. And I don't even know if that's an option, because the kids and the staff probably don't have their passports on them. It's been a real tough couple of days here, inside and outside of sports for British Columbians. And you can only keep your fingers crossed that the worst is behind us.
Here's hoping, for sure. Prayers up to them, and they can restore power, and people can be safe. And then it doesn't help that the Vancouver Canucks are off to, I don't know if this is the worst start in franchise history because they've had a lot of bad starts, but they're the second worst team to only Seattle in the Pacific Division. What's the word there?
I thought you were going to bring me on to talk about Canada's soccer matchup with Mexico. But we'll do that in a bit. Because that's a biggie, Rod. That's huge. But yeah, the Vancouver Canucks have had a tough start to their year, and that's an understatement. A team that on paper should be, and I think is, better than their record where they are in the Pacific Division standings. They had a road trip to forget. After starting, a season-long 6-game road trip, not bad, playing some good hockey, came home for 7 straight at home and were not great. Now, all of the losses they had at Rogers Arena in that recent homestand, each of them was by 1 goal. So the scorelines might not be indicative of the way the team was playing. They had a chance to kind of find their game, I think, a little bit when they went on the road against 3 teams that have been playing some good hockey. Colorado, Vegas, 2 teams I think hockey fans would agree are Stanley Cup contenders, and Anaheim, which has been on a heater since they haven't played this hot in the regular season for a winning streak since Teemu Selanne was there. Well, the Canucks conceded 19 goals against in those 3 games. Now, that doesn't mean in each and every game those scorelines are indicative of the way the games were tip to tail, but the optics aren't good for a team that was expected to be contending for a playoff spot in the Western Conference. It'll be really interesting to see how they respond with the upcoming homestand they've got. They've had a few days off, which I think probably is a good thing since their loss this past weekend in Anaheim. And they're back in action tomorrow here in Vancouver against Colorado. There's a lot of eyes, very interested eyes on what this team is going to do in the way of a response. And if they can't, then a lot of eyes are on this team as to what moves may or may not be made as the team trudges towards the 20-game mark.
Sure. And it's Grant in Kelowna wrote in. He's watching on Game Plus television. He wants to know what is with Elias Pettersson. And I haven't watched enough Vancouver games to say other than I do see them on opening night in Edmonton, and I'm like, they're just not that good. I'm sorry, they're just not that. He is, but maybe he's being pulled down by the collective weight of what's around him. What's your take on Elias Pettersson?
There's no denying he struggled out of the gate here. Now, keep in mind, this is a player that has been Vancouver's best scorer the last couple of years, but last season he missed more than half of the season with injury and was recovering in the offseason, was declared 100% healthy to start this year, but has had a very slow start. He's had just 3 goals through 16 games. To me, what's more alarming is the fact that he's not shooting the puck enough. You talk about a guy that signed a big money contract heading into the season that you consider, well, by average dollars, he's the highest paid forward on this team. You compare that to every other highest paid forward on each team in the league, regardless of what their AAV or actual salary is, you're expecting those forwards to shoot the puck a lot and to score a lot. Elias Pettersson's shooting percentage right now through 16 games is 6.8%. That's not very good. And this is a player that's consistently been hovering around season by season, 18 to 20% shooting percentage success rate. He's got to get going. Those around him need to get going. And like it is with so many other teams in the league, if your top guns aren't being able to find the back of the net in this competitive league, it's going to be tough to get results in the win column. There's a lot of pressure on him, but I'm sure he knows it. He knows he's got to be better. But the longer this goes, the bigger the microscope lens is on a guy like Pettersson for trying to get this team back on track.
Elliot Freeman reporting that Francesco Aquilini, Canucks owner, and GM Jim Benning will meet this afternoon. Neither individual will comment. It's to talk about the team, not a change at the position. Nobody being fired yet, according to Elliot Freeman. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall in that room, Joey? What do you think will come out of it?
That shouldn't surprise anybody, that when the teams have the start that they've had, when they're coming off the road trip that they had, that the hierarchy of a franchise would be getting together to try to figure out what the heck is going on. So Elliot, I'm sure, is reporting fact. He usually does. And that doesn't surprise me, though, that ownership is meeting with the hockey ops department of the franchise to try to figure out what, if any, changes need to be made. I personally think that it's all needing to come from within. They're a team that, on paper, should be putting up better results, but they've stunk on the penalty kill. They have not had nearly as much success as they should have on the power play, and they've leaked far too many goals against this early on in the season. And that's not hanging it on starting goalie Thatcher Demko, who arguably has been their best player. And it's not hanging it on their top two defensemen, who have been, I think, pretty steady, especially 5-on-5 in Quinn Hughes and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. But collectively inside that locker room, they've got to find a way to figure it out. Because if they don't, that mountain to climb just to get into the playoffs as we head towards December, that's going to be a taller mountain to climb.
Brady Leovold is watching in Muskoka, Ontario, and he says, lots has changed in Swift Current since you left, Joey. I don't know specifically what he's talking about, but I'm just passing that along, Joey.
Been a long time since I started my play-by-play career at that Civic Arena in Swift Current back in the year 2000. We've come a long way, Roddy.
Say what?
I said, you and I have come a long way. We're going back. That's aging not only me, who just became a dad less than 3 weeks ago. That's why I'm talking to you from the baby's room here, by the way.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. I thought I saw a crib in the back of the room and like a Fisher-Price. Congratulations, Joey. Unbelievable. What's the story?
Have welcomed in a baby boy into the world a little earlier than expected, but Jaden Jesse Kenward is going to carry the Kenward name on here on the West Coast.
Congratulations.
And you know what? Thanks. The first Canucks game that he watched with me in my arms, Canucks got a victory. So guess where he's going to be tonight? In my arms, watching Canada play at Commonwealth Stadium against Mexico for that key World Cup qualifier.
Tell me how the game goes, because I'm going to be watching Jets and Oilers and Panthers and Islanders. And listen, we got to go. We got to break. Your son named after Jaden Schwartz, or whom?
Jayden. So
he's his own man. Okay, thanks, Joey.
Thanks a lot. Go Canada, go.
You got you. You got it. Love you, buddy. Joey Kenward joining us from Vancouver. Always a treat. TacoTime Viewer Takeover is next. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube, live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I'm proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Yeah, buddy. It's Taco Time Viewer Takeover. We only got a couple of minutes. I needed to mention that the rock star of the day yesterday, I have it written down, was Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet. There you go. Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They specialize in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. Sean Reynolds of Sportsnet Winnipeg yesterday. Is it going to be Joe Kenward or is it going to be Matthew Barnaby? Kaboom. It's like the clash of two rams on the mountaintop. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll put a poll up for that. Taco Time Viewer Takeover. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday for only $2 each. Do you order hard or soft shell? It's hard shell all day, right? Tacos, beef or veggie? Not even a discussion to me. Not at all. I don't even know why they have veggie tacos. Come on. Anyway, Taco Tuesday, $2 tacos. Sports update, the Toronto Maple Leafs look for their fourth consecutive win when they host Nashville tonight. 4 other Canadian teams are in action. Montreal visits the Rangers. Flames in Philly, and the Jets home to Edmonton. That's probably the featured game. We'll see what Moose says for his, but I'm also going to be watching Islanders, Florida. Last minute of play in the first hour. 2 of the NBA's top teams go head-to-head when the Golden State Warriors visit Brooklyn tonight. The Warriors boast the best record in the NBA at 11-2. The Nets, coached by Canada's Steve Nash, are second in the Eastern Conference at 10-4. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the Tap Brew House and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. Not a lot of time here in Taco Time Viewer Takeover, so we'll carry it over into hour 2, talking about Theo Fleury, why he should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. This viewer, Brett Murray, was all over Theo. We canceled him. We canceled Brett Murray today. Theo is free to say whatever he wants, and just because you don't agree with it doesn't give you the right to cancel Theo. Hockey Hall of Fame or otherwise. Hour 2 coming up with Matthew Barnaby and Moose after this on Game Plus TV.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Smoky
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
How about the Ducks? Yes, I had them picked to finish third in the Pacific Division, and we're a long, long ways away from the end of the regular season, Moose. Do you think because they're so young that the Anaheim Ducks are a wet paper box, that the bottom's going to fall out?
They might be. It might be a situation of they're too young to know better. The veterans that they have, like Ryan Getzlaf, is that enough to get that group and battle through it?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Welcome to Hour 2, proudly brought to you by Great Western Brewing Company.
All right.
I'm so happy about it. How about that?
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's not a brand new sponsor. They're just upping their partnership with the RP Show, Canada's daytime sports talk show, your favorite. And we're broadcasting here from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And they want to grow. They told us that, right? They want to grow Great Western across the prairies and sell more beer in Winnipeg and Calgary and Edmonton and the beautiful province of British Columbia. And it's like, guys and gals, you came to the right place. Because that's where we go.
That's right.
Right? So thank you, Great Western Breweries, for stepping up and bringing our viewers and listeners Hour 2 of the RP Show. So things got heated. Very heated. Actually, not very heated. They could have got more heated.
Yeah,
but I restrained myself.
Proud of you.
Thank you. And actually, I will be man enough to say this. I don't know. I don't know how we devolve into these things. I did not mean to.
How did we get here?
Yeah. But we were talking about the Hockey Hall of Fame induction last night. It is a pretty good class, I got to say.
Yeah.
But our poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is, which of these guys that isn't in should be in? Wendell Clark, Theron Fleury, John Van Beesbrook, or other. And it got into this thing that Theo shouldn't be in because of his issues. And this Brett Murray wasn't the only guy that say that he shouldn't get in because of his issues. And clearly we all know what those are. And you know that I advocate for people in recovery in the recovery world. And Brett Murray says, he's written, he says, I can admit when I make an error. I've recognized that and sincerely apologize for my dumb take. He's basically saying Theo may or may not have had a Hall of Fame career, but because of Theo, if you follow him on Twitter, you know what he's talking about.
Yes.
And I guess that could be tomorrow's poll question. Should off-ice, off-field activities be considered when it comes to a Hall of Fame? Because I'm not sure that it should. I don't know.
We could do 2 hours. It's a hell of a discussion.
Yes.
Because is Aaron Rodgers going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? It's an anti-vaxxer. He's putting everybody at risk. He's a danger to society. He's lied about it. He was deceitful.
Stop the presses. What about this Hall of Fame recently that had an had a proof of vaccination policy, but one of the people they inducted isn't vaxxed? How about that?
Right. You know, is it a proof of vaccination policy to get into the Hall of Fame or just be at the ceremony? What is it? Right? Like, does the bust need to be vaccinated to get? But that's what I'm saying, right? How much do these issues affect somebody getting in and out of the Hall of Fame? I think there's things we don't mess around with. Human rights issues, violence against women.
Where do you draw the line, right?
That's the question.
Darren Workman watching in Salt Lake City, Utah says players' personal lives should not come into the conversation for Hall of Fame status unless their off-field behavior has harmed their sport, i.e. Pete Rose. So there's that. Chris Bird in King City, Ontario says, yesterday there was a lot of chatter here about how much Southern Ontario prefers NFL over the CFL. If you look at the TV ratings, it tells us a different story. The CFL matters here. And he's watching in Southern Ontario. And where are those TV ratings? You know, we used to be able to read Chris Zelkovich's column or Bill Houston's column. Where are those guys, let alone the ratings?
Right.
We don't even know anymore. Like, I literally don't care anymore. But there is a CFL game tonight. Like I said to Darren, we could do a new feature, and we kind of quasi-do. What's your featured game tonight? Because I know everybody's going boffo about the Mexico-Canada soccer game in Edmonton tonight, and that's awesome. 50,000 from what I've gleaned. It's a must-win for Canada. They must win to advance in the CONCACAF. Clearly, it's not my thing. I'm going to be watching Florida and the New York Islanders tonight, and then I'm going to be watching the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. Don't bother me. I did look up on the Score app that this soccer game begins at 8:05 p.m., and that's awesome. Go have fun. And if the Mexican players all freeze to death, that would be an interesting story. I know they're not going to, but I'm watching the guys this morning on SportsCenter as I was working out. The reporters, they've got snowy Edmonton in the backfield, and it looks great. And they said it might be 16 tonight and 50,000. And we're not going to go into that debate about how a lot of people wouldn't get off their couch to go buy a ticket down the street here in the almost exact same conditions, but 50,000 will go in Edmonton. That's great. Just don't be upset that I don't care about it, because I got some pretty important hockey games to watch tonight. And then there's the football game, Edmonton-Toronto, which frankly means nothing. But I was looking at the game notes this morning. This is potentially and statistically the greatest Toronto Argonauts team ever. If they win tonight, they go unbeaten at home all year.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's my guys. Murph, Chris Jones, Ryan Dinwiddie, who I love, did pinball. Who doesn't love all those guys?
I know.
And nobody cares. This maybe is a reflection of me and how I don't follow the CFL as much as I used to. But do you? Really? I'm giving her on the elliptical today, which, by the way, 5,500 steps to this point. That's not bad.
That's great.
They have the Edmonton-Toronto with two guys on the screen, and I'm like, do you know that how they do on TSN?
Yep.
Tuesday Night Football. This guy. Like, I have no idea who they are. Where it used to be Ricky Ray and Bo or whatever. Even if they put Taylor Cornelius up against Macbeth, the two starting quarterbacks, would you really know who they were? I couldn't pick Taylor Cornelius out of a lineup.
Macbeth, I could.
Yes, well, I've met him.
He's been around a while, but you're right.
The average Canadian could.
But it used to be you could put 2 linebackers on there and you'd know who they were. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You could put a running back and a receiver and you'd know who they were. Now we barely know who the quarterbacks are, unfortunately.
Right? So I'm just saying it is what it is. My featured game is not Argos Elks. I might, you know what, maybe in between periods of the Panthers-Islanders game on Valley Sports Florida, I'll go over there. But here's what I'm thinking. Panthers have lost 4 in a row, y'all. Am I the only one thinking Joel Quenneville's gone? Are these related? Because I've been reading all the stories out of Florida, South Florida, and the players are saying, no panic, we believe in ourselves, and I'm sure they do. But it's not that Joel Quenneville's the second winningest coach of all time in the NHL just because he had good teams, okay?
It's different for
some
Andrew
coaches.
Burnett.
It's different with the new coach and Andrew Burnett. That's what I'll be watching for tonight. And I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up again. But this debate's raging about off-field stuff and whether you should get into a Hall of Fame or not. And then back to the Theo stuff. He shouldn't get in because he's not perfect. Okay, for those that say that, let's shine the light on you. Let's go through your history. Let's go through your browser history and emails. Let's do that, okay? Oh.
He's fine. He's fine.
Oh, he's fine. He's good. He's good.
Anything
let's talk about you.
Anything but my browser history.
Right. From Chris Bird in Edmonton, in King City, Ontario. He says, I'm as big an Argo fan as anyone, but the soccer game at Edmonton is way more important. And the fact that we're even talking about that soccer game is a win for soccer in this country and for us, that we're even talking about it. And you know what?
Yeah.
The game may be played, and it might be the greatest thing in Canada, may go on to win the World Cup. Could you imagine? And maybe I'll look back and say, dang, I should have watched that night in Edmonton. But I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that in Winnipeg, they're far more excited about the Jets and Oilers tonight. And to be honest with you, I think in Edmonton, they're more interested in the Oilers and Jets. I'm sorry, I got lost in comments here. I got to get one in from Wayne in Victoria, BC. He says, because I'm a CFL guy, I'll watch almost any CFL game. It's not my favorite game to watch, but I'll be watching some of the time between hockey and football. Thank you, Wayne, for letting us know. Tacona Powley in Winnipeg says, it's not a must-win for Canada, but it sure would help the cause. Say it again. The fact we're even talking about a soccer game on this show is a win for us and soccer, because I would have never have done that.
I know.
I would have never have done that.
And guess what? There's enough intrigue now. I'm probably going to watch.
Because it's the thing to do. It's the buzz. It's the sizzle.
And I know what's up for grabs. I've been following now since I was in Winnipeg and I saw it on the TV in the bar, sports bars. Like, I know the standings now. I'm interested. I've seen some info. I know some key players on Canada. We used to never know, couldn't name a player on Canada's national soccer team. Now we do. We can name a couple of players. So now all of a sudden I have some buy-in. I'm interested, and it'll be on my TV tonight.
Ryan 8 says, will the Elks put Arbuckle in tonight for a few tosses against his former team? Well, tune in to find out. Dun, dun, dun. I don't really care, if I'm being honest. Because Tacona Powley writes in and says, this is a very interesting comment. He says, Rod, Panther fan here, and I also believe the coaching changes had an effect. I was having this talk the other day. Panthers, I got to be careful. But it's like, did they force Quenneville to resign because Bettman made him, or did they actually believe he should? And in retrospect, was it worth it? Does the owner and the president of that team know enough about hockey to realize that the coach is the straw that stirs the drink? For years, the last 5 probably, I've said the 3 best coaches I believe in the National Hockey League are Dave Tippett, Mike Babcock, and Joel Quenneville, not necessarily in that order. They're now down to 1, Dave Tippett. 2 are gone. But I'm saying, was it worth it getting rid of Joel Quenneville, getting swept up in a movement where the rest of the NHL and, quite frankly, society has moved on to the next thing? You smoked your coach, maybe, because I don't know the details. But was it worth it because you're now on a 4-game losing streak?
I know. And they need to seriously look hard at where they go from here. Andrew Brunette, your assistant coach, a lot of times is the player's coach. You know, can be that ear that the players can talk to when you can't always talk to the head coach. So now you got to find somebody else, I think, to fill that role. And a name that keeps popping up, whether it's on social media or in reports that, you know, might be a guy that would be easily replaceable for Quenneville, would be John Tortorella.
I know, they're already talking about it.
Can he slide into that role? It's a similar demeanor, you know, has a lot of experience. He's won, can take a winning team and win. We know guys like Tortorella don't have a ton of longevity in one place, but they have a ton of longevity in the sport. Hard coaches, right? So I could see it, and it's probably a need for Florida.
Regarding Let's Shine the Light on You, Troy Calmer in Toronto says, I'm clearing my computer history as we speak. Just saying. Everybody wants to point the thing. You're not perfect. Oh, God. Are you? We're not talking about me. Well, actually, we are. The viewer, Richard Murray, he is in the Battlefords. We had a viewer last hour in Pennsylvania say, what's the best Grey Cup to watch if you were a new CFL fan? I couldn't immediately come up with one. Richard Murray, and that's because I think they're all great in their own way. To nail one down is not easy. Richard Murray in the Battlefords says 1989 Grey Cup was one of the best, back and forth with Hamilton. Right. But in my mind, and Darren will back me up on this, the Moose, it's not just about the game per se. It's the pomp and the circumstance and the pageantry and everything else going on around.
Oh, yeah.
Now, 89 was great. 05, Vancouver was great. And I want to say that was Nickelback at halftime, but I was drinking a lot back then. I'm pretty sure it was Nickelback at halftime, but I can't really remember. I've been to quite a few Grey Cups in Vancouver. Black Eyed Peas, maybe. I don't know. Wasn't drinking at the game. I'm just saying.
The Nickelback halftime show was one of the better ones.
I think that was.
It was really good.
Maybe that was. Man, I was saying to Lynch one day, John Lynch, do you ever, John, look back and say, where did the years go? And Lynch said, I look back and say, where do the decades go? It only gets worse. Something was Black Eyed. Who was bigger in 2005, Black Eyed Peas or Nickelback?
I know, right? I don't know.
I guess I could go to the big board and find it out. Did you get the text? Hang on, from Allie in Edmonton, Clark. She's just sent a new update on the Holtby photo. And by the way, you and I were driving through Lloyd, and I wanted to get this picture. Remember?
That's right.
And did you have it, Clark, to tell me? He's going to load it up before we break here. It's worth it. I wouldn't make you wait. Allie in Edmonton writes in, she says, Morning RP Show, winter has hit in Edmonton, and here's another Braden Holtby display from Lloyd. Kev drove slower, so it's a better pick. Have a great day. Now that is a thing of beauty.
That's cool.
That's on the train overpass on your way east out of Lloyd. And when Moose and I last drove through there, it was dark. Maybe Lloyd should prop a flashlight up at the bottom of that.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
You're going to put a Holtby on the tunnel. You might as well light it up.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Is that painted on there? Looks pretty good.
Abso-smurfly. Okay, we're going to break. Yeah, Tacona Pally says, Rick Tocchet for the Panthers. They're not firing anybody yet, okay? And Darren was saying how everybody loves my stories. A quick one in 45 seconds or less. Ryan McCarthy writes in from Saratoga, New York. He says, only 17 days until the NLL opening face-off. Let's go Firewolves. Did you see the NLL announce Don Koharski as their director of officiating yesterday? Guy who I don't think's ever reffed an NLL lacrosse game ever. I got to read the news release. I just skimmed over it. But I remember doing a dinner with Chris Knuckles Nyland and Don Koharski. And you weren't there, but now that you know Knuckles well enough, this would not surprise you.
Right.
When here's Knuckles. Koharski he wouldn't shut up. He grabbed the mic out of my hand and kept telling these stories. And Knuckles stood up and said, listen, Koharski, nobody came to see you. Just like when you ref, nobody came to see you then, and nobody came to see you tonight. Sit down and shut up.
I can see Chris doing that.
Knuckles, licorice legs.
Oh, man.
We'll be right back. I know. Sit down. Matthew Barnaby coming up, by the way. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV. Live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We got to get those commercials in, obviously. That's what keeps us on the air. But I was just in the middle of a great story.
Yes.
I just got all of a sudden very hot.
I did too. It's warm.
Talk for a minute while I turn the fan on.
Okay, good idea. I will say, now that I've got the mic, You promised a Mathew Stafford discussion a little bit later on this hour, so we got some time for that.
It's November the 16th, and I got to turn the fan on in here. That's how hot it is. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
I think I'd rather have it too warm than too cold, however.
Yeah, I'm with you on
that. Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. But the good news is addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center, recovery for life. Go to aurorarecoverycenter.com. I've been there for a visit. It's absolutely beautiful. The food is fantastic. I didn't want to leave. Now, not that I'm going to sit here and preach from the pulpit like I do every day, but I said that I noticed that Don Koharski has been named the NLL supervisor of officiating or whatever. And I didn't read the news release, but at least Darren and I knew about it.
Yeah.
The NLL's putting it across in front of my face. It's what you have to do in today's world of sports. So our viewers, God love them, they have responded. And Chris Bird in King City, Ontario says, I'll bet Koharski refed plenty of lacrosse in his day, just not as a high-profile official. Ryan in New York says, I've got the press release up. Koharski played lacrosse for Nova Scotia in the 1973 Canada Games and coached the Hamilton Bengals midget lacrosse team in 1980 and 81. So, apparently he hasn't reffed officiating, but he's played and coached it, and that helps. It's like hockey. I've played, coached, and reffed it. If you've done two of the three, you got a pretty good idea. How about that? And so, yeah. I didn't think they would just put Koharski in there willy-nilly.
Just to have a name?
Yeah, just because they wanted a donut sponsor. Too soon? You're not old enough. You literally...
Throwing the donut?
No.
What was it?
Jim Schoenfeld was the coach.
Yelling at him.
Have another donut, you fat pig!
That's what it was.
Look it up on YouTube. You were like 1 year old when that happened. I was watching with my brothers in the living room of the farmhouse, and we were like... It was in the Stanley Cup playoff. Couldn't believe that had happened. Anyways, listen, I don't like or dislike Don Koharski. I don't. It's just that night at that sports banquet, which God willing we'll get back to those soon, you can see how Knuckles Nyland and I had just met him that night. We just thick as thieves, man. So we were over on this side of the stage and Koharski's over here. Like you weren't even there. Do that imitation of Nyland. Like you could just imagine that.
Johnny! Nobody came to watch you then, and they're not coming to watch you tonight.
That's exactly how it went.
Probably throw a couple of F-bombs in there and, a couple other swear words that I won't even drop letters for.
It's interesting. On my on Twitter here, Neil Jenkins is watching on Twitter. And he's regarding the Quenneville thing. He says, you were presenting opinions like you were on the verge of an all-out road rage. Yes, we are all fallible, but Quenneville was given a position of privilege, which requires a great deal of integrity, and he failed his employer, the NHL, and Kyle Beach. Oh, I'm not arguing that. And I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you writing in. I'm just presenting the other side of this story. Think if you got your side, look at my side. And it's not even my side. I'm just from a hockey discussion for the did you get caught up in the swell of this? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you regret making Quenneville quit? Or maybe you don't. There's a very good chance the Panthers don't regret that at all. But did they think that they would go on a 4-game losing streak after this and everything might fall apart? Because there's a very real chance that's going to happen. Because Quenneville's that good of a coach. That's all. And I don't want to go down the any more of the Blackhawks story because I got tired of reading everybody's opinions of people that I don't know all the facts. I don't think you, sir, know all the facts. So it's hard to have a discussion about that. I don't know that anybody has all the facts except the two people that were in the room. So there's also that. But there were people that say, Joel Quenneville's burning need to win usurped everything else. have you met an NHL coach or a pro? They're all like that. Nothing else matters to them, but nothing. Nothing. And that's how they got to where they are. You think it's just Joel Quenneville that wants to win over anything else? Then you're just an idiot if you think that. So all I was saying was, did the Florida Panthers realize what they were doing when they showed Quenneville the door? That's all that I was saying. I'm not saying they're wrong.
Right. And they're probably not, but this is now the other side of it. You're on a losing streak, and you have to also plan for that. You can't just say, okay, Quenneville's out. Okay, next guy's in because our team's good. Let's go win a Stanley Cup. It's all about the structure. It's all about continuity. And clearly they've lost that, and now they've got to figure out how to fix it. And what's the non-common denominator? The coach.
Right.
What's changed, right?
From Robin Wildy in the Gateway to the North, he says, the NLL is proud to announce that Dunkin' Donuts is proud to sponsor the NLL Director of Officiating. That's good.
That is good.
I like it.
John Massey on YouTube. Talk about Bedard and how he's not dominating like he should. No. From Shooters Shoot Basketball Pod. Wasn't Bedard hurt early in the year? No. We talked about Bedard last week at length. We're not a jukebox where you plug in a quarter and I dance like a chicken on a hot plate. That's not how it works around here. You saw how I was getting a little agitated earlier. And I don't want that to continue. Matthew Barnaby coming up, by the way. Next segment. You are always welcome to write us on the text line, 902-518-3033. Let me say that again, 902-518-3033. Are we close to having that ready to roll?
We're close.
From Randy in the Peg. He says, I'll be wearing out the remote. Jets, Oilers, Canada, Mexico. And Theo Fleury should be in the Hall of Fame. The question is not, that's like a Darren answer. The entrepreneur, it's not either or, it's all. No, you can only pick one thing to watch tonight. That'll be a good poll question for later.
Yes.
Are you watching NHL, CFL, or soccer? You can only pick one. Or something otherwise exciting that we don't even know about. Like Highway to Hell or Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives or something.
Right. But you only get one.
You can only pick one. For me, it's NHL. Metal Shingle Guy writes in regarding if you had one Grey Cup to tell a new CFL fan to watch, what one would it be? And he says, a great Grey Cup if you're a Montreal fan, you know the game. And then he writes an expletive. I'm not sure that we settled on what would be the greatest Grey Cup. Another dang good poll question. Maybe we save that till Friday.
What about Toronto, Edmonton, Eddie Brown in the snow?
96.
That's pretty good.
In Hamilton.
That was good.
What did they call that game? There was a name for that game. I watched them all. I think I've been at 20 live. And to be honest, what you see on the television is a lot different than being in the venue. I get they're both great, but both different experiences.
Kind of neat pregame when Henry Burris wasn't supposed to play, and then he came out, let Ottawa to the win. That wasn't that long ago. It was just a few years ago. Is that 2017 maybe?
Well, the 20...
What year did Ottawa win?
2016. In Toronto, in overtime. 2018, Edmonton was really a forgettable sham of a game. The field was covered in ice. Guys were slipping all over the place. That was bad. I don't know how that was allowed to happen. Don't watch 2018.
Yeah, no.
I think we would narrow it down, I would, to the 94 Grey Cup. It was really awesome. BC versus Baltimore. You said you don't want an American team in there, but I think there was a real cool Canada versus America thing in that game.
Yeah.
And it was sold out. And 89 Grey Cup, Obvi. 2005, in BC Place. Edmonton, Montreal goes to double overtime. If I had my Fitbit on, my heart would have been at least 76. The other day was like 48, Moose.
That's crazy.
I know. From Jeff Kibilis, he says, what if we give you Mexi fries, poutine, Rod? Will you dance? They're telling me that there is Taco Time Mexi fries poutine. I'm telling you that where I went yesterday and you went there last night, they don't have it.
Is it a secret menu? Like you got to ask for it?
Like the old BLT. Yeah.
Because don't they ask you if you want gravy with your Mexi fries?
No.
Are you sure?
Maybe Matthew Barnaby can settle this next segment. TacoTime Viewer Takeover, our newest sponsor, TacoTime. Viewers are telling us across this land that there's a poutine for Mexi fries, and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I have yet to see it. I was just there yesterday. It wasn't on the board. Look, they still want to talk about Connor Bedard, and I get it. I get it, but we covered it at length. You got to watch this every day. I'm not just going to talk about it because you want me to talk about it today. The first ever exceptional player in Western Hockey League history. Last year at 15, averaged 1.87 points a game. Mind-boggling. And this year at 16, he's not even a point a game. There's a variety of reasons why. We discussed it with John Paddock last week. You should have been watching then. And you know what? It's 2021. You can go find it on YouTube. Go look up John Paddock, Rod Pedersen Show. We talked about it then. In the meantime and in between time, buy a ticket and come out to Moose Jaw Saturday night, and I'll see you there. Maybe I'll buy you a Mexi Fries poutine at Taco Time in Moose Jaw.
How about that?
I'm saying I'm not talking about it today. I don't feel like it. I want to talk to Barney, and we're going to do that when we come back. We got so much to get to. It's the RP Show. You're watching on the Game Plus television network across Ontario on Rogers Cable, Cogeco Cable. Live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds. Feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down. Bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody, and we're going to get into a hockey discussion now. Craig Campbell's watching, Executive Director of the Hockey Hall of Fame Museum. He writes in and says, who enjoyed the Hockey Hall of Fame induction last night? Well, I did, but holy smokes, Craig, let's not start a holy war. We got into the Theo Fleury discussion last hour. I just got everybody settled down. But we'll come back on the Hockey Hall of Fame in a moment. Matthew Barnaby played 834 NHL games, 2,562 penalty minutes. And he joins us today from, I'm guessing, the nation's capital. Is that where you're at, Barney?
I am, buddy. I hope you are well. Hope all your listeners are well. And yeah, the 2562 is not going to get me into the Hall of Fame, unfortunately.
Yeah, you and Tiger be in your own Hall of Fame somewhere. And I would attend that induction. Look, before we get into the things, and I love your takes, but I just love your takes on everything. But I got to ask you, the Panthers have lost 4 in a row going into tonight's home game against the Islanders. And I'm just wondering if you think that's related to Joel Quenneville stepping down. Did the Panthers think that, let's just say, that's my question. Do you think this is related to that?
No, I don't. They got off to a great start. They were one of my favorites in the NHL to win the Stanley Cup this year. Listen, this is a bona fide Cup contending team, and it is really sad what happened to Joel, and obviously everything that's happened with that whole situation. But no, I think players really compartmentalize very well. I think Andrew Burnett will do a fine job with them in the interim, maybe the long term. But no, I just feel that, there's times where you're going to lose a few games in a row. This is a really good hockey team that'll be there at the end.
All right, thank you for that. And it's 82 games is a lot to keep the pedal to the metal. That's for sure. So now, the Eichel trade. I loved what you said about the Sabres and their thoughts on Eichel. I don't know if you got any heat over that, and I'm sure you don't care, but just your thoughts on the trade. Who won it, and how you see it unfolding for both clubs.
I always get heat from Buffalo when I say that it's not what they want to hear. Listen, it's been 10 years of misery in Buffalo for the Buffalo Sabres fans, and that makes me sad in itself because I'm still a fan of the Buffalo people and them as a sports town in general. But who won? Las Vegas. They got the better player, the best player. Top 10 player in the National Hockey League when you think of Jack Eichel when he is healthy and what he can bring to that lineup. They needed a bona fide number one center. They got a star in Jack Eichel. When he comes back, he'll be ready to go. He makes them not only, I don't think, a legit cup contender, maybe the favorite with Colorado when they're unrolling on all cylinders. So, yes, I took some heat, RP. That's okay. We don't mind that like you don't mind it. Speak your mind. You'll be okay. But definitely, without a doubt, Vegas got the better end of that deal.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and I'll examine that philosophy in a moment because I saw Jeff O'Neill saying the same thing. Whoever gets the better player wins the trade, and I've heard that before. I don't know if I fully believe it, but did the Sabres fail Eichel, or did Eichel fail the Sabres, or was it just a marriage that just got sour and you couldn't come back?
Wow, that's a great question. I think in the return, just going back to the original question, you get Alex Tuch, who's a really good player. You get futures, and Peyton Krebs is playing actually very well in Rochester. a former first rounder. But to me, Jack Eichel is the guy that makes your team a legitimate cup contender, and that's what you're in this game to do. And Vegas has done probably the most masterful job out of any team I've seen in their short term. Who failed who? I would say they both failed each other. I think this started with the Sabres and Tim Murray when he looked like he was in disgust when he didn't win the Connor McDavid sweepstakes, and unfortunately got Jack Eichel at number 2. It started off bad. They never surrounded them with players that had a chance of ever competing, not only for a Stanley Cup, but barely for a playoff position, and they haven't had success. So they haven't built the team around them with every superstar wants. That's what they all want. I don't care if we're talking CFL, NFL, we're talking the National Hockey League. The stars want to be built around because they're all going to make their money, but they're going to be judged on playoff success and ultimately Stanley Cups. And that just hasn't worked out for Jack Eichel. So I think they failed him on that department. I also think that as an immature young superstar, probably wasn't the greatest guy around Buffalo, around the team, and everything that went about it. I think everyone has the right to your own body, like he spoke about with surgeries, and he's going to have to live with it for the rest of their life. That's something that'll be discussed in future CBA negotiations. But in the end, I would say the Sabres failed him more than he failed them. But in the end, I think they both failed each other.
Real good answer. Now, that's what I wanted to get to. The Panthers, Knights, Sabres, and Eichel. What are the stories you're following the most here a quarter of the way into the NHL schedule?
Well, now we're back to COVID again, right? I'm in the nation's capital, very close to that organization just from being so close to here and games being canceled to COVID. We're talking 2 years later. That's the tough things. From the betting perspective, I work in the betting industry with Bet99 in Canada, and you look at Carolina, you look at teams. Everyone always asks me, what's your favorite team? And I say it over and over and over again: the team that covers. I don't care if I played for them. I don't care if it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't care if it's the Tampa Bay Lightning. If you win and I bet on you, I'm really, really happy. That's for NFL. That's for all of them in general. So I think Carolina's done a great job. I think Anaheim's been a great, great story at the start of the year. A team that was, expected to play a lot of young guys and lose, evidently. I know Mason McTavish, the 3rd overall pick, he's done very well when he's been in that lineup. We look at Troy Terry. You look at Zegras. This team is going to be really, really good for a lot of years to come. Are they a playoff team this year? I think time will tell. I think the cream always rises to the top. But Carolina's been great. Florida's been off to a good start. And Anaheim's been very surprising for me as well.
Here's one factoid for you. There's not one team in the Metropolitan Division that's below 500. 8 teams, not one's below 500. That's some good hockey every night.
Yeah, the Metro is tough. It's tough to gamble on too, only because always. Here's what I tell everyone right now: if you're in the Metro, take the teams getting plus money, because it is a bear in that division. And I think you look at the teams. A lot of those teams we expected to be good, but it's been the most or the toughest division to actually gauge because every team's been really good.
Well, who's been the surprise in there, by the way? I didn't think the Devils would be this good. They're 4th. Rangers have been better than I thought. Columbus have been better than I thought. But we always say, I would think you would agree, U.S. Thanksgiving's kind of where we separate the wheat from the chaff. Who's the contenders and who's the pretenders in that bunch?
Yeah, I would say the Rangers I expect to be there and continue throughout. Columbus is a big surprise. Listen, Patrick Laine last year was awful. He didn't contribute to that offense. And I think a lot of teams take them for granted early on. We saw Buffalo, right? We saw them early on, playing against every team's backup. So you can't get a true sense of what the team is when you aren't playing their best goalie every single night. So I think that happened with New Jersey. I don't expect Jersey to be there. I think they're a good young team, but I don't expect them to be there. I don't expect Columbus to be there, even though Brad Larson is doing a really good job with them. But I do expect the Rangers to be there. And we can look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Listen, they've been out with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. They've had injuries. They've had COVID. They've had a little bit of everything. and they've got off to a pretty damn good start. So a tough division, but obviously for me, New Jersey and Columbus, I would see falling out of that playoff race as we get through the year. 20 games for me is that magic number.
Here we go with the betting advice. I'll just fire one at you from the Shooters Shoot Basketball Podcast. They write in and say, Barney, Montreal Rangers, over-under 5.5 tonight. What do you got?
Wow, that's a good one. It's a good number. I'm going to go with the under. I'm going to take the Rangers, and I'm going to say 4-1.
Wow, gotcha. Hey, where can people follow what you're doing now?
Matthew Barnaby, I guess, 3636 on Twitter. Work for Bet99.net, a Canadian-based gambling company. I'm not telling you to gamble, but if you do like to gamble, it's a great spot. We have a great guy in George St. Pierre as our front man, but I'm fortunate to be able to talk sports, watch sports, and gamble on sports. So I love it and can't wait to get your neck of the woods in the new year, and hopefully we can hook up. But keep up the awesome work, my man RP.
Thank you, Barney. Matthew Barnaby, 3636. Hopefully we get out on the speaking trail again soon. That would be fun. We'll leave Andre Waugh at home. Barney, thanks. Enjoy the hockey.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right.
Cheers, boys.
Matthew Barnaby joining us from Ottawa, Ontario today. Ozzy, what a night. TacoTime Viewer Takeover coming up, and overtime. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube, live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I'm proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Smoky in the air, it's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, everybody, I think we've got to the bottom of some important stuff. The Moose is back with us. We'll get to him in a minute. It is TacoTime Viewer Takeover. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday for the whole day for only $2 each. The question is, do you do hard shell or soft shell? Beef or veggie? I made it. I told the world. Hard shell, beef, last hour. Moose, do you want to take a stab at that one? You're not straying from that, are you?
From what?
What I was just saying to you. He wasn't listening. Hard or soft shell?
No, it's always hard shell.
Yes.
Always.
Beef or veggie?
Beef.
Of course.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
Spicy.
I know.
I mean, if you were straying from that to because I like the crisp meat burrito. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. And I got one last night after I got home from Winnipeg.
They're so good. Sneaky little buggers, though.
I know.
I eat a lot of calories in a small little package.
Yeah.
You looked up. We're trying to get to the bottom of the poutine thing, and Moose thinks he has. We need to hear from Taco Time to get a ruling on this.
We do. What I'm understanding from the brief 15-second Google search that I did is that there was a Mexi Fries poutine. I can see it traced back to 2015 that they had the Mexi Fry poutine. I don't think it lasted. I think it was a limited time offer. I don't think it's something you can walk into Taco Time and order today.
We have an interesting avenue gone down here. From the Shooters Shoot Basketball podcast says you got to do hard shell with soft shell wrapped around it. And
how about that?
Jeff Kabilas in Winnipeg says I combine them both. Hard shell wrapped in soft. But my question to that is, why? That's a lot of carbs in there, man.
It's just
that don't make sense.
It's delicious, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's fantastic.
Yeah.
A sports update before we go any further. Duke Williams, Darnell Sankey, and Enoch Mwamba were named the CFL Top Performers of the Week for Week 15 in the CFL. Duke Williams had his first 100-plus yard game as a rider. It was 146 yards. Darnell Sankey matched a career high with 12 tackles in Calgary's 33-23 win over BC. And Enoch Mwamba set his season high 11 tackles as the Argos defeated the Ticats 31-12. Canada and Mexico face off in a crucial World Cup qualifier tonight in Edmonton. Canada's men's soccer team enters the contest in third place in the final stage of regional World Cup qualifying, 1 point behind Mexico and the United States. It's 8:05 Mountain for those that'll be watching. The Toronto Blue Jays are locking up starting pitcher Jose Barrios to a long-term deal. The two sides have agreed to a 7-year extension worth $131 million. Dion Phaneuf, a former Flames star and Leafs captain, has officially announced his retirement. How about that? 14 NHL seasons, hasn't played since 2019. Toronto Argonauts host the Edmonton Elks in CFL play tonight. The game will have no bearing on the league's playoff picture. Argos have locked up first in the East. The Elks will miss the playoffs. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, order yours now at g2gbars.ca and get 20% off with the promo code RPShow. I think we've covered all of that. It is viewer takeover for Taco Time. I've had a lot of people writing in and saying to me, thanks for defending Theo. But privately, not there, because you wouldn't want to do that publicly. Oh, no. Wouldn't want to stand up for a friend. Oh, my. What would people think? Actually, Ryan in New York says, that is a lot of carbs. You guys must be runners. Runner here. Moose, are you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
I'll run. Yep.
Dan, the Jets fan watching in Winnipeg, says, Taco, if it was beef, hard shell. But my favorite is the chicken burrito. Dude, I'm going to have to take your word for that because it reminds me of when I bought the pizza restaurant. And I vowed, and you knew me then, I vowed to have one of everything on the menu. And I just had my favorites. I got the Vesuvio, the spicy Thai, and I just stopped.
I know, that spicy Thai.
You just know why stray.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get. Are they talking about, Craig Campbell says the Elks stayed at the Hockey Hall of Fame induction host hotel, Weston Harbor Castle. They are large people, but perhaps the Argos will make them feel small tonight. Morley Scott, the voice of the Elks, I don't know if you saw his Instagram, took a picture of Rogers Center, surrounded by fog. And he's like, game time, Tuesday night, 7:30, whatever. I'm like, Morley, I wrote him. Morley, the game's not there. You should know. They probably wish it'll be in Rogers Center tonight.
Right.
Oh, because it won't.
Be a BMO.
I always thought that Rogers Center got a real rough ride. I loved games in Rogers Center. I don't care that there was nobody there. It's not a lot of people. Last minute of play in the RP show. Like, BMO's cool, but it's literally cool as well as figuratively. I liked Skydome and Rogers Center.
Yeah.
So, again, your featured game tonight.
I'm going to watch the soccer game.
Good.
It's this featured game for me tonight. I'm watching.
Good. So somebody will be.
Yeah.
From this show.
Yeah.
From Tacona Powell, he says, Rod, I stand with you on Theo's character. Thank you. And you were going to pick for the guy in San Francisco, your Grey Cup winner.
Toronto Argonauts.
Hey, how about that?
The Toronto Argonauts. I think they're going to get through the East, and once you're in the game, you got a chance to win. They can do it.
Yeah, I had a Hamilton, Saskatchewan Grey Cup, but I am changing my thoughts on
An upset over Winnipeg.
Yeah, there you go. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here on Game Plus. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Let's go. Hot take. I like it. Spicy. Bingo!